After India's pivotal role in 1971, Indians went to Bangladesh with hope. 19,000 Indians still live in Bangladesh. 9,000 went there as medical students. But things have changed since Hasina's outstep.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Explained. Today we turn to a disturbing, escalating trend unfolding in Bangladesh. There has been a renewed wave of violence targeting Hindu minorities. Over the last few months, the country has witnessed mob lynchings, brutal public assaults and rising fear amongst members of the Hindu community. These incidents have sparked protests both inside Bangladesh and in India. In 2025 alone, at least 3 Hindus, including Deepu Chandra Das and Amrit Mondal, have been lynched by mobs. Videos, eyewitness accounts and survivor testimonies have painted a grim picture of mob justice, intimidation and silence. What makes the situation more troubling is that instead of fully acknowledging the seriousness of these attacks, the interim government appears to be downplaying them. Meanwhile, for many Hindus living in Bangladesh, fear has become a daily reality. But to truly understand what these incidents mean, we need to step back. We need to ask some important questions together. How large really is the Hindu population in Bangladesh? How has that number changed over the decades? What role did partition, migration and the Bangladesh Liberation War really play in reshaping the presence of the Hindu community? And why does this history matter so much right now? Let's begin with some of the basic numbers. Hinduism is the second largest religion in Bangladesh after Islam. And in global terms, Bangladesh actually has the third largest Hindu population in the world after India and Nepal. According to the country's most recent census conducted in 2022, Hindus account for about 1.31 crore of the population, which means that they now make up about 7.9% of the total population. If you look at their distribution across the country, Bangladesh is divided into 8 major administrative divisions. The highest number of Hindus live in Dhaka, the capital region. More than 27 lakh Hindus reside here, forming roughly 6.26% of Dhaka's population. But if we measure Hindu population by percentage share within a division, then Sylhet records the highest proportion, where 13.51% of the population identifies as Hindus. On your screens, you can see the Hindus in terms of percentage share of the division's population. Let's move to how the districts look. Interestingly, there are no Hindu majority districts left in Bangladesh today. However, in 61 out of the country's 64 districts, Hindus still form the second largest religious community. The district with the single largest Hindu population is Chattogram, where more than 9.8 lakh Hindus reside, making up 10.72% of that district. Dhaka comes next, followed by Dinajpur. But here's the crucial point. This wasn't always the demographic picture. If you rewind back to 1901, Hindus made up about 33% of the population living in what is today Bangladesh. This number declined slightly to 28% by 1941, but the turning point arrived in 1947 with the partition of India and Pakistan. A large number of Hindus, uncertain about their future in the newly formed Muslim-majority nation of Pakistan, which then included present-day Bangladesh, migrated across the border into India. As a direct consequence, by 1951, the Hindu share of the population fell sharply to 22%. Then in 1971, Bangladesh witnessed one of the most violent and defining conflicts in South Asian history. That was the Liberation War. The Pakistani army launched a brutal crackdown to suppress Bengali nationalist movements. While violence affected Bengalis in general, Hindus were more specifically targeted. Entire villages were destroyed, families were wiped out, women faced sexual violence, and millions fled across the border to India seeking refuge. By the end of the conflict, nearly 10 million refugees had crossed into India, and a significant proportion of them were Hindus. Many of them never returned home, either because their villages had been destroyed or because they no longer felt safe. This mass exodus dramatically reshaped the country's social composition. By the time the 1974 census was conducted, the Hindu percentage had fallen further to 13.5%. And the decline didn't stop there. On the other hand, in Pakistan, the Hindu population was a little more than 9 lakh. That accounted for 1.44% of the total population in 1972. But fast forward to 2001, Hindus made up 9.6% of the population. By 2011, that number had already dropped once again to 8.5%. In just one decade, between 2001 to 2011, at least 10 lakh Hindus disappeared from official census records, especially in districts like Bhola, Barisal, Jalakoti, Pirojpur, Bagherhat, Narel, Gopalganj, Rajbari and Manikganj. Today, the share stands at just 8%. So what explains this steady long-term decline? Well, Bangladesh's own census authority estimates that around 75 lakh Hindus or 7.5 million people have left the country over the past 50 years due to discrimination, insecurity and fear. Other independent researchers go even further. They estimate that between 1964 and 2013 alone, nearly 1.13 crore Hindus or 11.3 million Hindus migrated out of Bangladesh permanently. To put that into perspective, that means an average of 632 Hindus left the country every single day for 5 decades. Every day, families packed up their belongings, shut their doors and crossed the border with no guarantee of what awaited on the other side. And by now, history could be repeating itself. According to India's Ministry of External Affairs, there have already been around 2,900 recorded incidents of violence against Hindus in Bangladesh in 2025 alone. Each incident adds another layer of fear. Each attack pushes more people to ask themselves whether they have a future in the country they once called home. And with that, we slip into a very short break.
After India's pivotal role in 1971, Indians went to Bangladesh with hope. 19,000 Indians still live in Bangladesh. 9,000 went there as medical students. But things have changed since Hasina's outstep.